So I made a new arcade stick, a new fight stick. This is Bluey. This is Bluey themed stick. Took me a couple weeks, I guess. I want to talk about that. This is basically how I start making my designs for 3D printing. So I put it in here. I first had to figure out the button layouts and everything, and I was going to use smaller buttons this time. And this is going to be a small form factor. I think overall, let's see, I can actually inspect it here from this edge to this edge. The distance here is 250, so 250 millimeters, 25 centimeters. So this thing's roughly around 10 inches is the width of it. Left to right, up and down, a little smaller. So I wanted it to be very compact, pretty tiny. My recent arcade stick that I built, I forgot to add the little holes to screw in the lever. We're using a lever on this one. But this time I didn't want to do that because I'm going to put some art behind this. So I didn't want to have too many holes and screws covering up the art so much. So rather I wanted to try something different, something new. And so what I did is didn't put the holes in the plexi. We got this shipped out. I'll show some pictures of that later on. But I actually put the mounting holes for the lever in the 3D print within the frame. So this whole piece right here will hold the lever. The inner frame in here is printed in PETG, which is a stronger material, and they don't really come in fun colors. The fun colors usually come in PLA, which is not as strong. So one thing I decided to make sure I did in the beginning this time was make 3D models of the pieces I'll be using within the stick. So here I modeled a brook board, you know, with the possibilities of where these buttons, or not buttons, but the wires are going to be sticking out of and stuff like that to make sure it would fit in here. So that's modeled after a brook board there. And I also did a model of this button over here too. I'm using a big button right here. And I wanted to make sure it was going to fit next to the lever. And I'm glad I did that too, because this whole little bracket that's holding the lever, it almost didn't fit. So I had to cut pieces out of it to get this button to fit in here. This is how big that button is in here. Takes up a lot of room, but I got it to work out. And then I had to print this in multiple parts again because my 3D printer isn't that huge. So this is the frame. This is the inner frame that's printed in PETG. We got a left side, we got a right side. Left side is going to be holding the lever and everything. The right side will be holding the brook board. Right here in this big circle would be where the little port for the USB would go into. And then on the left and right side on either side will be additional buttons. So these big holes will hold 2 buttons. These little spots here will hold some D-rings that I decided to use for this build too. And this big circle square hole here will be for that button I was talking about. And then the various other holes you see here, these small ones, they're for threaded inserts. So I can put screws into them. So this is going to be screws around in multiple areas to make sure the outer frame doesn't fall off. And then here's the outside frame. Also, as you can see, I have dovetails too, so it doesn't fall off to the side. It can slide up and down, so you would slide these on to the frame. And again, printed in multiple pieces. I have these 2 top pieces right here, top and bottom piece. And this is going to be the main way that the left and right frames hold together. But because of the D-rings that I added on here, I couldn't put the D-ring into the frame and then slide on these side pieces. So I had to print those in separate pieces too. So I would put this on first, so the D-ring can kind of peek out on the side right here, and then add on this other piece afterwards that will slide over the D-ring, which it's screwed in. The D-ring is also held in by M4 screw with an M4 threaded insert. As I was printing out this project, my 3D printer failed a number of times, and it took me a while to figure out why things weren't printing correctly. I also learned that some of the settings I had for some of my PLA, printed material could have been better. In this case right here, as it was printing, the edge came up on the side. It wasn't adhering to the plate. I forgot what I did to fix that, but that was an issue that I came across a few times. And then one time I actually ran out of filament because I used so much filament and had so much errors that eventually I just ran out. Luckily by then I knew exactly how I needed to print it, so I ordered some new filament and I was able to print it one time, and that was it. I used too much of that filament at all. Here's an original picture. I guess the first beta print I printed. Here's all the inserted pieces. This is basically the final form before I start adding all the hardware. Here's me putting in some of the hardware, the wiring, the buttons and everything. Another thing about the design of the frame where the lever holds, the first time I printed it, the lever actually wouldn't fit because it was really squared. So that's why I have it kind of rounded off now. There's an extra piece that kind of sticks out, and it was holding it back from being flush with this part. So one of the reasons I had to do was make this little curvy so I don't lose too much support, but also would fit the lever. For the top piece, the acrylic, I made a model of it, make sure I had the exact measurements using Art Illustrator, and then I sent that off to Send Cut Send. It's one of my favorite places now to send anything I need cut, plexi and all that. And then one cool thing that they do too when they send you stuff is they send you some candy. So I got some got a cool sticker and some Sour Patch Kids. I love Sour Patch Kids, which is the reason why I like going to them. But here is the plexi. Everything came out perfect, exactly how I measured it and everything. All these also, like as I was 3D modeling everything, I already knew the size of this plexi, so I had to base it, these cuts based off that. Here's the final design though when it was all done. We got these, was it 32 or 24 mils, whatever, buttons. Got a nice big bat lever, start button up top, which also lights up. I made the dust cover a balloon to kind of match the Bluey theme. There are small buttons for home and share. Here's our R3, L3 buttons here on the side. Made this little strap, something that I sewed up myself. Use these hardwares to latch it. The strap is adjustable. Also made a smaller little latch piece, right? This little strap piece here, so the strap didn't feel so like clunky. Kind of holds together good. And the artwork is just printed out some more paper. I just found some cool pictures online, printed them out. Here's the D-ring I used, the latch attachment. And then to finish off the stick, I found some cool stickers. That's why I have a blank kind of this living room art in the background, so we can just add some stickers on it for fun. But yeah, that's the arcade stick. If anyone has any questions, just feel free to ask in the comments. Peace out.